Hi, compassionate and heart-centered leaders. As a compassionate leader, you have amazing superpowers. You're able to build empathetic relationships, support others, and see the best in people. Let's talk about another superpower that can help you lead from a place of balance and assertiveness. Does it take you a long time to give challenging feedback because you want to avoid confrontation and upsetting people? Does this result in you or other team members overcompensating, overworking, and overextending to make up for underperforming team members? This can all be easily prevented. In this episode, I'll give you the exact framework for giving effective feedback to balance your compassion and assertiveness. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button to get notified for new episodes each week. I'm Maria Neizvestnaya, founder of Executive Craft, and welcome to my channel, a place for heart-centered leaders. As leadership and executive coach, I'm passionate about emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and transformational leadership training. My clients gain confidence, increase influence, and become fully empowered. Are you ready to elevate your leadership? One big block to consistent assertiveness is protest behavior, which is when you tolerate something for a long time until you have an emotional outburst. This outburst leads to remorse and regret. You apologize and try to re-establish status quo. You reach out and go out of your way to earn back the other person's congeniality. You do this whether it's necessary or not, whether it serves you or not. If you feel uncomfortable giving challenging feedback to your team members, listen closely. To establish a more consistent line of assertive behavior, don't wait until you lose patience and the crisis explodes. Give feedback along the way. When you're in a situation when someone is not doing their job, there is space to work with it. When you have established relationships and trust, and it's actually your responsibility to work with it, then work with it. Don't wait just because giving feedback makes you uncomfortable. Change your relationship with feedback by working on your mindset surrounding it and training how to give it. If you struggle with understanding the value of feedback and reluctant to ask for it, watch this episode on receiving feedback. The more you embrace the idea of feedback, the easier it will be to provide it. Giving feedback, in fact, is a great opportunity to increase your influence, minimize emotional turmoil in yourself and your team, and take strategic action steps that lead to long-term outcomes. One of the biggest mistakes you can make when giving challenging feedback is not giving challenging feedback altogether. In other words, withholding feedback about what's not working well can be very detrimental to you and your team. People quickly forget things, especially when there is an avalanche of information. Have you noticed that you experience time differently in 2020? For example, can you remember what exactly happened 1 month ago in detail? I definitely cannot. In addition to the intense information flow, the mechanism of memory is tricky as well. Our memory files in our memory storage don't just sit there set in stone. They change consistently, upgrading and adding new information, creating new meaning, and reinterpreting events from the past. If you keep delaying challenging conversations, chances are that the person will have forgotten the details of the situation or will misremember the facts and their behavior. So, how do you create consistent, assertive behavior? What's your inner dialogue saying about giving challenging feedback? Let me guess. First comes the impulse to address some serious issues. Next, you stall. Then this person seems to improve. You think, oh well, things are really going well right now. So you decide not to give challenging feedback altogether. It's kind of one step forward, one step back process. Yes, things might be going well now, but if you simply deferred giving challenging feedback, chances are the person will have never learned how to improve, and you run into the risk of having that person repeat the behavior that required the challenging feedback in the first place. The price you and your team will pay the next time will be higher. This doesn't serve you, your team, or the person needing the feedback because you have already missed the learning opportunity. To change this pattern, schedule one-on-one sessions with your team in advance and commit to giving feedback during these meetings. Start with acknowledging what's working. It's fine if you don't have any challenging feedback at that moment, but if you do, establishing this structure and framework keeps yourself accountable. If you give feedback on a regular basis, you train yourself and your team so that it wouldn't come as a huge surprise or performance review shock once in 6 to 12 months. I'm curious, what do you find most challenging in giving feedback? What if something urgent happens that can't wait till a one-on-one meeting? If you feel like you need to give corrective feedback immediately, go for it. It's always a good idea to process this with the person later, explaining what was going on, why you needed to jump in, and to make sure that they are on the same page with your perspective and your thinking process. I also encourage you to prepare notes before having a challenging meeting. When you are stressed, it's difficult to remember things, even if you have rehearsed them before. So here is the framework for giving feedback. First, you have the introduction, then the main part, and finally, the wrap-up. In the introduction, you are setting the stage and checking the other person's intention and readiness to listen. For example, you can say, "I'd like to talk to you about something. Will this time work?" Or, "My intention is to help you develop and to work together on this. Can I give you some feedback?" If appropriate, and it's appropriate in most cases, express appreciation about specific behavior or performance. You can say, "I'm really impressed by how your team is handling the pressure at the end of the month. I appreciate your efforts and the results are amazing. There is one situation that I'd like to discuss with you and give you feedback on." In the main part, state the situation, what happened and where. For example, "In the meeting today, when you spoke to such and such, in the report you wrote." Then state the behavior. What did you see or hear without interpretations? For example, when you came late to the meeting, when you said, "I saw 2 errors," when the report was late, etc. Then state the impact and consequences on multiple stakeholders and timeframes. For example, the customer was disappointed. Others on the team were angry. The organization worried if. My boss asked me what was happening and was concerned. You can also express how you felt, but make sure you express it in I statements. After that, express how would you like to see the situation resolved. At this stage, either ask them about their ideas for how to resolve the situation, or simply tell them directly what you expect to be different moving forward. It depends on the level of the person you are talking to. If giving feedback to a competent manager, it's always a good idea to ask for their ideas first. In the wrap-up part, express appreciation at the end. For example, "Thank you, I know this was a challenging conversation. I appreciate the openness you demonstrated during our discussion. If any follow-up is needed, create an agreement about what the follow-up actions will be." Remember, the other person might get upset and have an emotional response. Stay mindful of how you react. Provide a safe space while giving challenging feedback. It is a valuable experience, even if the recipient is experiencing difficult emotions. Yes, difficult emotions can be unpleasant, but all emotions come and go. True compassion means that you have the courage and ability to be with difficult emotions, hold the space for them, and move forward, guided by values, mutual trust, and goals. Take time and practice giving challenge and feedback. Draft the conversation and rehearse it. I strongly recommend doing this if you find challenge and feedback difficult to give. If you are interested in learning more strategies for training assertiveness and handling difficult conversations, including feedback with ease, sign up for my free 1-hour training, How to Succeed as an Overgiver Without Becoming Resentful or Losing the Passion for Your Work, by clicking on the link in the description or go to my website executivecraft.com. If you are in a leadership position and know that you need to work on your assertiveness, I invite you to connect and book a free one-on-one discovery call with me. Let's dive into specifics. What you are working on, what's working for you, and what's not working for you. What are your goals and aspirations, and most importantly, how to achieve them. We'll assess 5 key areas: your self-regard, stress tolerance, emotional regulation, assertiveness, and influence, to create an action plan for each of them. To apply for the call, click on the link in the description or go to executivecraft.com/apply and choose the time in my schedule that works for you. Remember that the work that you are doing is highly relevant and very important. Take good care of yourself and make your well-being your first priority. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and share it with other heart-centered leaders. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Have a wonderful week and I will see you soon. Bye bye.